Hey guys, so today I have the new Redmi Note 11 with me. This one is the global variant that was announced just a couple of days ago, and please don't get it confused with the 5G ready Chinese variant since these two are quite different. Anyway, the Note 11 starts at $180 for the base 464GB configuration and goes all the way up to $230 for the maxed out 128GB model. And for that money, you are getting a lot of value, including some healthy improvements over last year's incredibly popular Redmi Note 10. Okay, with that out of the way, let me quickly get done with the unboxing. Okay, opening up this rather big box, we're first greeted with the phone itself. I have it in the standard black color variant, which looks quite good, to be honest. Then keeping it aside, we have a mini paper box where we have the silicone case, which looks decent enough. And then we have the paperwork along with the 33-watt fast charger and a USB Type-A to Type-C cable. So I have been using the Redmi Note 11 for a couple of days now, and the first thing that has impressed me here is the design and its build quality. It has a 6.43 inches display and weighs around 180 grams. As a result, this phone feels quite good on the hands, not too bulky and well, not too light either. Plus, there's no uneven weight distribution here like you'd find on most budget phones either. There are no creaks or the slightest hint of flex even when applying pressure, which is all the more impressive. Now, I am no jerry-rig, but the Redmi Note 11 looks quite robust. I am also digging this matte graphite finish, which looks pretty minimalistic. Apart from this, you can find it in twilight blue and star blue color options as well. While the matte surface does a decent job of keeping away fingerprints and smudges, the camera module does not protrude as much, so that's great too. Still, being the budget phone that it is, the entire chassis here, including the frames, are made of plastic. So you'd better case it up to avoid scratches and discoloration. Alright, on the right frame are the volume keys and a power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. As expected, it's pretty reliable and unlocks the phone in less than a second. However, the unlock animation is a tad bit slower here, which leaves Xiaomi with some homework on speeding things up a little. Over on the left, we have a SIM tray that accepts 2 nano SIM cards and a micro SD card. On top, as you can see, Xiaomi is still keeping the 3.5mm headphone jack alive alongside an IR blaster to control your smart TVs, ACs, etc. Likewise, the Redmi Note 11 also brings a stereo speaker setup with the earpiece acting as a second speaker. The end result from these speakers is, I would say, quite decent, and it's completely fine for watching movies and listening to some tunes. To further elevate the multimedia experience, Xiaomi has also included a very good AMOLED screen on this phone. The colors pop quite well, and its black levels are much better than your typical IPS panel on mid-range phones. This display can get plenty bright as well, so outdoor visibility should not be an issue either. More importantly, unlike last year's Redmi Note 10 and 10S, the Redmi Note 11 now refreshes at a smoother 90Hz, which is guaranteed to improve the overall smartphone experience even more. In terms of performance, Xiaomi has gone for efficiency rather than raw power this time around. Here, the phone is powered by the Snapdragon 680 system on a chip that is based on a 6nm architecture. Complementing this is either 4 or 6 GB of LPDDR4X RAM and up to 128 GB of UFS 2.2 storage. And under my brief usage so far with not many apps installed, it has done an okay job. Although I can confidently say that it does not feel as fast as the Helio G96 or Snapdragon 732G powered phones. I haven't gotten around fully testing its gaming potentials just yet, but the Redmi Note 11 handled a few of my PUBG mobile gaming sessions quite well. It maxes out at smooth graphics and high frame rates, and the gameplay here is perfectly stable and the phone does not heat up either. Regardless, because of the 6nm chipset and the AMOLED screen, I am expecting its 5000 mAh battery to offer excellent endurance. Plus, with the 33-watt fast charger, fueling it up should be pretty quick too. Okay, getting to the cameras, we all know that Xiaomi's budget and mid-range smartphones generally feature just average cameras, and things don't look any different here. The Redmi Note 11 brings a 50-megapixel primary, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and two 2-megapixel depth and macro sensors. The hole punch cutout up front houses a 13-megapixel selfie camera. Anyway, as you can see from these samples, daytime shots have a decent level of detail and look a bit contrasty with a noticeable warm tint in most of the images I took. Shifting to the ultra-wide angle lens, there's a noticeable dip in details compared to the normal photos. Portraits, on the other hand, look good enough, but the beautification here is obvious even when turning the beauty mode off. Other than that, the camera does a good enough job of maintaining background exposure. Unlike portraits, selfies have a muted, almost faint color tone. They also look beautified without any beautification feature turned on, so the output's just about average if you ask me. Even nighttime photos are nothing spectacular, although the camera does control noise pretty well. Turning on the night mode brightens things up, but again, it's just okayish. Likewise, the videos from the Redmi Note 11 are bang on average. It maxes out at 1080p 60fps, where the footages come out extremely shaky and lacking in detail. The stabilization is relatively better at 1080p 30fps, although the overall video quality is nothing to write home about. Overall, in my brief time, I think the Redmi Note 11 looks like a decent smartphone for multimedia on a budget. I will be coming up with its review pretty soon, where I will discuss more about the Redmi Note 11 in detail, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Till then, I am Pratima and I will see you in the next one.